Okay. Hello. Hello. Happy Monday. It is Monday today. Hello. Oh, yay. People are here. Okay, so today is the Monday. I hope you guys had a really lovely Mother's Day yesterday. We had a really nice day, but I'll talk about it after I tell you what we're going to do today. So today we're going to do the detached chain stitch. If you remember on Friday, we did the chain stitch for these two little guys, and I caught up at the weekend. So I'll have everything stitched that you were supposed to stitch. Remember, these three things were optional to be stitched right now, because if you also remember, you can have a little choice of like doing the satin stitch, or you can choose one of the other stitches that we're going to learn. So today we're going to do the detached chain stitch, which is related to the chain stitch, and we're going to use them for all of these areas, and they are the leaves on these two chain stems here, and then we've got these two little flowers, 1, 2, we've got this one here, and we've got this one over here. So you can decide if you want to make them all the same color, meaning the flowers and the leaves are the same on each side, or you can choose to do kind of different ones for each little bunch. Someone also messaged me at the weekend and asked if the leaves of all of the stems have to be matching, and they don't have to be matching. So if you want to do like a dark green leaf for each of these little detached chain stitches, you can do that, or you can do the same color. It's totally up to you. So I think that's all the questions. I think that's it. And we're going to use 6 strands for all of them, so we don't have to split our threads. So let's get going. I've got my needle there, and let's go and do these ones down here first, because they're nice and repetitive. Easy to do. So I'm going to use a matching one, so I don't have to think so much. Oops, dropped it. All 6 strands though, yeah? So easy peasy. We don't have to split anything. Okay. Did everyone have a good weekend? I hope you did. Hope you had a lovely Mother's Day if you're in America. And if not, I hope you had a lovely day anyways. Okay, do a little zoom in here. We'll do this one over here first. All right, so we're going to start these just the same way as your chain stitch, as your regular chain stitch, except these ones are just going to be one chain. So they're not going to be connected all like this. So if you see this very end one that we did with the little tacking stitch at the end, that's the kind of vibe that we want. That's all we're going to do. So you're going to go up here, and I like to put them really close to the stem so it looks like they're coming out of the stem, or you can go up through the middle of the stem if you want them to come kind of from the top. The way that I'm doing it now, they're going to come from behind. Yeah, so the stem in the middle is going to look like it's on top of all of the leaves. Otherwise, you can put them right through the middle of the stem, and it will look like they're kind of coming out of the stem. Yeah, so you're going to go right back down, very close to where you just came. Up. Make that loop, just like before. And then wherever you put your next stitch, I like to put it on the inside of the line. So if you have a look here, I kind of go inside, and that's going to lay my thread right over the line. Whereas if you come up at the very tip, or even outside of your loop, sorry, not this loop, the loop that we drew, then it's going to be a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. So come up like this. And this right here is the part that makes the most difference. If you pull really tight, like this, what's going to happen is your fabric is going to pucker and you're going to get a stitch that goes straight up and straight down, just like this. So straight, straight, and straight on each side. So what we want to do is loosen that up, okay, and just make it lay like a loop. So you don't want it to be so tight, almost like constipated tight, you know, where it's like boom, boom. You just kind of want to lay it down like a loop. And then this tacking stitch is going to just secure that loop down. Okay, so we don't want it like super loose where it's like flapping all over the place, but we also don't want it too tight. And you'll know when you have the right little one. So for this one, you can either do kind of left then right, or you can do all of the ones on the left and then do all of the ones on the right. It's totally up to you how you like to work. I tend to go back and forth, but I just pulled my tail through. But it's up to you how you would like to go. So we're just going to go on the inside of that. And someone's already commented that they love using 6 strands because they're lazy. That's me all day. But you can experiment with these. Obviously, if you have less than 6 strands, you're going to get a much thinner line, a much thinner outline here. Yeah? So it just depends on how delicate you want them to look, really. So yeah, we just continue. We just continue on. We've already had our dinner tonight. David's taken Miles on a walk. We'll see. We are yet to be successful with a walk kind of in the evening. He just screams his head off. Hello, Mel. Hello. So yeah, I fed him, fed myself, and we're off. Well, they're off, I should say. So that's exciting. So we're just filling these in here with the detached chain stitch. All 6 strands. So we don't have to split them. It goes quite fast when you get the hang of it. I find sometimes when I do the chain stitch first and then I do the detached chain stitch and then go back to the chain stitch, I feel like I almost forget how to do the chain stitch again, like to make it continue to go, because I just want to do like the one loop and then be done. You have to get into like the rhythm of it, you know? But yeah, yesterday we went to a National Trust place for my mother-in-law's birthday. I don't know if she's still on here or not. I thought I saw her join, but sometimes she just comes to have a little listen and then leaves. So I don't know if she's here still, but it was really, really nice. It was at Coton Court maybe. I don't remember which way we decided to pronounce it, but it was really, really nice. And I got some little plants for the backyard. And I planted them. I almost said buried them. God. Hi, George. Lord help me. But I planted them last night when we got home. So they're all in. And I got some little daisy trees from Little on Saturday. So they're cute. Already planted those 2. Coton Court. She's still here. Coton Court. I remember we were talking about it, how to pronounce it, and I couldn't remember if we actually came to a agreement. Hi, Nem. Hi. Okay, so we've got one thing done here. Let's just zoom out, and you can see how it really makes it look like a little plant, doesn't it? Once you put the little leaves on, because I think some people get to this point and they're like, oh, oh, I've made a mistake. This does not look right. But when you add the little leaves on there, it really does make such a big difference. And the other thing you can do for this, either in the same color or a different color, again, totally up to you and personal preference, is do you see how these make a little loop? And you can see the fabric color inside the loop. Some people really hate that. And a really easy way to fix that is to put a straight stitch in the middle of each one. So I'm going to show you, let me just grab a different color just so that you can see the effect that it makes, if you know what I mean. We're just going to do one little straight stitch in each one. No need to be careful when you make a knot on the back here. Still 6 strands. Let me just grab maybe like that one, or maybe like the darkest color. I'll do the darkest color. Be a bit dramatic. Or maybe this one, just real quick. I'll do this one actually. Okay. Okay. Because I still want it to look nice, you know? Don't want to just pull colors like willy-nilly. Just, my 4-year-old was just commenting that the middle isn't filled. Now, when you make them smaller, because these are quite big, like teardrop shapes that I've drawn, when you make them smaller, they actually are filled. But when you make them larger, they don't fill in as much unless you use, oops, sorry, more strands, which you can if you want to. If you wanted to use 12 strands, you can do that. Just make sure you tighten that fabric up when you're done. So what I mean is we're just going to do a little straight stitch in the middle of each one. So I like to come up at the tip here on the inside, still on the inside, but not close to the stem. I like to go out by the tip of the leaf. And this is another one where find what works for you and do it that way, because some people like to come up in the middle and go down. I find that way it doesn't actually go inside the loop. It kind of does a little overlapping, you know? So here we go. And I like to put it right inside on an angle like that. So what you end up with is just a little bit of a bit of color. You can use the same color if you want as well. You don't have to use a different color. I'm just showing you how it fills it in, yeah? And you can do this with the flowers as well. So I told you at the beginning of the video which flowers we're going to do. So it's this one here, the bunch of 2 at the top, and there's one little guy just kind of shooting out the side by the woven wagon wheels on the other side. So we're just going to do the detached chain stitches for those as well. And then you can decide if you want to do a coordinating color, I should say. I was going to say complementary color, but sometimes that comes across as like a red and green kind of vibe, you know, instead of just like a color that looks good with it. So yeah. Nem says, I always think green lazy daisies look lush with a darker green middle. Yes, I agree. I think they look really nice. Now, I always find that the more furious that I stitch with 6 strands, the looser my fabric gets. So make sure before you start that you have no wiggly fabric, no wavy fabric. It's nice and straight and tight like a drum. Let's just do this very last one here. Try not to go in the knot that I made because I can feel it. Okay. All right, so let's zoom out again and then you can see how that looks. Yeah? So filled it in. Very, very simple, but just gave it that little bit of like oomph. Do you know what I mean? The same exact thing happens if you use the same color as the outline. So you don't have to have a darker or lighter color for the middle if you don't want to. You can keep it the same color that you did the stem and or, I'm saying it the outline, but the leaves, yeah? Okay, let's pop on up here and do these ones, or here and do this one. And then you can kind of see how it looks with a color and how to work it in a circle. Okay, so I'm going to use this like purpley bluish color. Yeah, this one, this like blush maybe. Blush. Is that what people say? Jessie's wagging her tail like someone's here, but I'm fairly certain that no one's here. You know when dogs like put their head down and their tail starts wagging, like, ooh, we've got a visitor. Okay, so these ones here, we're going to work them around in a circle. So instead of having one on each side like that, we're going to put them all around the middle. So this is where you can decide if you want to have a large middle or a smaller middle. And what I mean by that is if you put them too close together and make the points all kind of overlap like this, there's not going to be a lot of space on the inside to put a middle. So do you remember I was talking about the middles on these ones and how some people like to put all of their spokes like this, touching in the middle. Yeah, and when they touch in the middle, there's no space to put like the quote unquote yellow part of the flower. Yeah, like where the little pollen gets distributed and all that jazz. Yeah, so kind of have to make a decision here if you want it to be really, really close and have not a big center, or if you want to put them all a bit farther away, and then you can have a nice big space to fill that in. Now, the benefit of putting them a little bit farther away is that you do have more space, so you could fill it in with like a lot of French knots, or you could do like a little satin stitch in there if you wanted to. Whereas if you have it really close, you're kind of limited. You can pretty much do a really tiny, tiny little one, or just not have one at all. So let's just get started. So the exact same stitch, we're not doing anything different. We're just making it go in a circle instead of kind of go on the side of things. Let's put this in the middle so you can see it a bit better. Okay. This is another one of those. Don't pull too tight or they're going to be straight up and down, but also too loose will have you, gosh, just messed that up twice. Okay. And we'll do the next one. Now, some people like to put them through the same hole that they just came up, and some people like to put them right next to them. It just depends on kind of how you want it to look, because sometimes I think when you put them in the same hole, it gives a nice sharp bottom, a really nice pointy bottom like this. And if you put them next to each other, it makes them look a little bit wider at the bottom. And you'd think that it really doesn't matter that much, but it actually does. It gives a completely different look, I think, when you're looking at, which some of you are probably rolling your eyes now thinking a completely different look. Tori, stop it. But it really does. It really does make a difference. It has a different look to it when you make them differently. Who would have thought? So I've chosen to have a bigger center and not make them all meet in the middle. All of the videos are on YouTube as well, and I've tried to combine, do you remember Wednesday, or maybe it was Tuesday, when there was just like a bunch of things? Yeah. I combined all the 3 videos together, so it's just one video. I didn't watch the whole thing back though, so hopefully it's okay. But when I uploaded it to YouTube, it was like 27 hours remaining. And I was like, oh gosh. Normally it's like 1 maybe for one video. But this was like 27 for one video. I know, Num. I need to stop trying to monetize my business. Okay. So I wanted to do this one here first before I jumped up there, because you see if I make them a lot smaller with 6 strands, it kind of fills in that loop a little bit more. Whereas when we had a bigger loop here with 6 strands, you really kind of, I'm not going to say you needed it, but you can see the fabric in the middle a lot easier. But when they're really smaller and closer together, you don't really need that extra little bit, that extra little stitch in there, because the 6 strands, they're almost touching already. So you don't really need to fill it in. And I do say need very loosely, because remember, this is your hoop. Like, you're going to look at it, or you're going to put it, give it to a friend or a family member, or you're not going to be happy with what you did and you're going to stick it in a drawer or in a basket and forget about it. So we want to make sure that you're happy with your choices and what you do and what you've made, because this is your hoop, you're making it. So, I like to give a lot of suggestions, and let's see if I can do this without actually taking it out of the thing, because I really don't want to take it off of here. Hi, Sylvia. Okay, when you've got 3 here and they all kind of touch, sometimes I'll do one on the left, one on the right, and then do the one in the middle kind of just slightly above the other 2, so that it overlaps a little bit. I will take it out just so you can see what I mean, because you can't really see that, can you? Oh, Lord. Okay, hold please. We'll just turn it to the side like this. Okay, and we'll turn that like that, and then you can see what I'm talking about. Almost looks like a bee right now. Okay, so I've done one on the left and one on the right. The one in the middle, I'm just going to put it a little bit above it. And I want this green to kind of dead end into that. So not too tight. Do you see how it kind of overlaps it? Overlaps the other 2 just slightly at the very top. I think that looks really nice. You can also space them out a little bit and make them 3 separate, 1, 2, 3, more like these. You really can't go wrong with detached chain stitch. Except if you make them too tight and then they just look like boom, boom, up, down. But they're cute, and they're cute for petals, and they're cute for leaves. So it's something that I don't have a color number on this. I'm an awful stitch organizer. Actually, I bought a ton of threads when I first started out, and I didn't know that I was going to do patterns and stuff. So I just threw them all on the pegs like this, and I didn't write any of the numbers on. Oh, awful. So now I write the number, and then I do A for anchor. I've got the D for DMC. The tree blue threads I have, I write a T on. I don't think I have any other ones. There's also Cosmo, which used to have a C, but I don't have any of those. I think I've used them all up ages ago. Yeah, it's like a periwinkle, purpley blue a little bit. I'll see if I can match it on the color chart. Let's see if there's a match. It might not be anchor. I don't know. I don't have a DMC color chart, because I bought one and I thought it was a thread one, but it just has picture of the colors. Don't buy that one. That one's awful. Okay, so what I was saying before about these lines in the middle, these straight stitches, if you want to, you can add straight stitches in the middle of these here as well. And so if you want to do that, go ahead. You can. There's no special thing that you have to remember or anything like that with the petals versus the leaves. Just keep in mind that 6 strands is thick, so you might have to do like 4 strands instead if you didn't want it to be like a really big line. It could be like, 4 strands or 3 strands instead. All right, we've got our last one here. Just there. And then we'll be done. All finished. I feel like I picked the right amount of thread for this. How's motherhood? Glad you are back to Stitchalongs. Do you know what? It's really good. It's really nice. He's really nice. And Miles he's just a really nice guy. But yeah, it's like meeting a stranger, and you have to figure out like what they like and what they don't like, but they can't talk and they can't tell you really. That's kind of what it's like. That's what I think anyways. That's kind of what I would think when I used to be a nanny, is like they can give you hints and tips of, I like this or I like that. But sometimes you don't know until you just try everything and you're like, oh, he didn't like that. He liked this. Obviously. And then they just look at you like, you idiot. I've been telling you for hours that I don't like that. But I like this instead. Just listen. Okay. And then finally, ta-da! All done. Okay, let me do a little knot. We'll zoom out. We can see what it looks like. We've got just this one left to do, actually, because it's going to match. I'm going to make mine match on the other side. I could probably do that really quickly since David's not back yet. And then if he comes home, I can just say, be quiet. I'm almost done. Only because I have a feeling that Miles is going to be like, what the actual heck are you trying to do to me right now? I would like to be home. Let's do this last one. There's only 7. Because why not? I'll put these in the middle of the stem and then you can see the difference. Because they will look a little bit different. Actually have a part of my hoop that's not tight over here. Do you see? That's a really good lesson though about stitch and stitch tension. So do you see when I pull this right here becomes straight, and when I let it go, it goes back to being loose again? That's what happens on your t-shirts. I feel like I was trying to explain it the other day. That's what happens to t-shirts, dish towels, like fabric napkins, like any of those kinds of things, sweatshirts that you try to embroider. If you pull them really, really tight in a hoop, and then you do a bunch of stitching, and then you take them out of the hoop, and all your stitches go floppy, and they lose their tension. And that's because all those things have a little bit of stretch in it. And actually, we are stretching our fabric when we pull it really tight in hoops like this. Even though this is non-stretch fabric, we are stretching it a little bit. So there you go. Just another demo. I going to have just the perfect amount? I am. Okay, you can totally tell that they look different by going through the middle of the stem and just to the side of it. So let's zoom out again and have a little look. So we've got this one over here. Obviously, I kind of tucked them under on each side. And then this one here, I just went right over the top. You can see that they just have a bit of a different look. A different look to them. Just pressing my look. I'm going to add the little straight stitches. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what we've got going on. Detached chain stitch, and then we did a little bit of straight stitch. And that's obviously optional. You do not have to do that. And this is one of those things that you can sit here and add so many details if you want to. Or you can just do the minimum and don't feel like, oh, I only did, the minimum, so I didn't really do it. You did. Okay? Do what you feel like. So if you want to keep going and you want to add more things and you think, oh, do you know what else I could add? We learned that stitch last week and I can just add a little bit of something here, or I can add a little bit of something there. Do it. You want to make something that you're proud of. You don't want to make something that you're like, ugh, don't know why I did that. Seeing it zoomed out, it might be a DMC 161, but I bet it's in that family. Possibly. I have to get a fabric color chart, to be fair, because I don't like not having both of them. I can look at the Anchor one real quick and see if it's that or something close to there. And then you can convert it. So there we go. That's what we've got so far. Let me just grab this. I almost stepped on a honky pig. Would have given me a fright, wouldn't it? Okay. It looks to me like 117 or 121. Yeah, 117 or 121. Although it's a bit more purple than 121. It's like a bluishy purple color. It might be a DMC color because I'm not finding the exact match on here. So it might be that. I don't have all hail honky peg. Oh my god, no. There's Instagram told me not to send that message. Do you know what? People have I don't know what words are censored or something, but someone sent a message to me and it was a message came up at the very bottom of their screen and it was this message might be bullying. And it was it had nothing to do with that. It was so strange. But yeah, who knows? You can't say all hail. But there we go. That's what we've got for today. So I won't waffle on because I'm all done. Make sure that you're tagging me at the Barbie Fox if you share in your stories or on your grid. That way I can go and and comment, etc. And use the hashtag the Barbie Fox SAL. And that way we can see them all if you post them to your Instagram profile. So yeah, I hope you've loved doing the detached chain stitch and feel free to add those little straight stitches if you feel like it. If not, then that's totally fine too. All right. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a lovely, lovely evening. So that's it for me. Bye.